Welcome back from that break. Truly sorry for that break in transmission due to some technical glitch beyond our control, but we're glad to be back. And we're still in the discourse mood as we look at issues on the national level, where we're looking at the security matters, where the Police Service Commission denied report that it was reviewing the list of successful candidates for the 2022 Constable recruitment exercise. The Commission also stated that it had never advised candidates to print any updated invitation slips or proceed to the police training colleges. This is the second time the Commission has issued a rebutter on this matter amid ongoing dispute with the police over the recruitment exercise. Of course, you know that the row between the two bodies, they're talking about the Nigerian Police Force and the Police Service Commission, began 11 days after the Police Service Commission on June 4th released the list of 10,000 successful applicants for the constable and specialist cadre roles in the Nigerian Police Force. The police had rejected the list, alleging that the recruitment exercise was marred by corruption and irregularities. However, the Commission vowed not to cancel the list, prompting the Minister of Police Affairs, Ibrahim Gaidam, to step into the matter. The matter has yet to be resolved. In a statement, the head of press and public relations, Ike Chukwu Ani, advised the successful candidates to be patient and await its official statement on the just concluded recruitment exercise. And he warned that the purveyors of fake news and report to desist, as they would be made to face the wrath of the law when apprehended. This is very, very disturbing. Looking at two agencies that are supposed to protect the lives and properties of Nigerians, talking about the Nigerian Police Force on one hand and the Police Service Commission, which is supposed to be their own sister body or a body that's supposed to protect their interests. What does this tell us as regards the issue of why probably the insecurity in the country is still persisting, and probably how unprofessional and divided the Nigerian Police Force as a whole is, when you have the Nigerian Police Force and the Police Service Commission, one body fighting against itself?
You know, most organizations would like to recruit their own people by themselves. But there's a reason there's a separate body that does recruitment for government. Even in the private sector.
Looking at the corporate world and
yes,
the banking sector, for instance.
In the banking sector, for instance, some bankers, bank companies would rather outsource recruitment. There are recruitment agencies in the private sector that can do that for other companies.
But what's the benefit, for instance, if the banking sector, which is a very delicate...
If you remove the burden from the bankers, so that you first of all concentrate on what you're doing as a banker, because recruitment is a long process of its own. It takes a lot. You have to do, some of them will require so much background checks of the
applicants or applicants.
Yeah. The Nigerian Police Force is a force. It has to do with the security of the country. So it's not just anybody that comes there. Generally speaking, being under government, the Nigerian Civil Service Commission is the body that does recruitment for government.
True.
But because some other bodies like the police force is quite sensitive, they now have their own special reserve recruitment bodies, like this Nigerian Police
Service Commission.
Their commission is to help in the recruitment and training.
Okay.
Yes.
But now why the Nigerian Police Force under Kayode Egbetokun has said they do not trust the 10,000 police constables that have been recruited. Corruption and irregularity. That's a weighty allegation against the Police Service Commission.
They're supposed to be independent. But you know, there's always a conflict of interest. Especially when you come to Nigerian recruitment, there's always a conflict of interest. Probably they're at loggerheads because they couldn't agree
on the sharing ration of the recruitment.
Who will I bring up? If you not pass who will I bring up, who will I not bring? That's Nigerian system. You do not pass that.
But
you went and brought your people from your region, and you didn't give these people that I say you should give. I'm not prophesying, but I can perceive that cannot pass, or one of the reasons cannot be beyond this.
Okay.
That you're taking people from your area. You didn't take people from
so
my area.
what's the danger
I gave
of
you
this?
Number of people to put. You didn't put them. It won't pass this.
So what's the implication of this and the dangers of having such?
The implication is that it's just showing that they are not in agreement. And again, is that the Nigerian police force is a separate. The power to recruit has been removed from Nigerian police force. Probably they are not satisfied with what the Police Service Commission has produced, so they said no, we are not accepting it. On the other hand, as well, the allegation may be correct. It may be raided with corruption and irregularities indeed. And the Nigerian police force now refuse, because in as much as this is your duty, that's why democracy is beautiful. In as much as this is your job to do this for me, if you do it and don't do it well, democracy allows me to reject what you've done, or at least to refuse and say that no, I'm not satisfied. We still, unlike in the military regime, it will be forced on you to take it whether you like it or not.
Okay, now
so it's a beautiful thing that they have their space to air their rejection of what the Service Commission has done. But at the end of the day, I still see it as an internal conflict, because they are all police. Whether the Service Commission or the force itself is something they can easily dialogue and resolve.
But the fact that we've got the Minister of Police Affairs in the person of Ibrahim Gaidam who has intervened, but still the conflict still persists. How do you think they can come to a truce, especially looking at the fact that we're talking about 10,000 Nigerian.
And it is a long process to recruit 10,000 people. And you are now saying that the whole job that the Police Commission has done is nothing. You want to trash it. You want to remove it. And then
is that realistic? Do you see that happening?
Well, if you finish doing such a lofty job and someone wants to trash it, you want to defend what you've done. Because if they successfully trash it now goes to prove that yes, indeed, there were corruption and irregularities or whatever other charges they have levied against the
process. Yeah.
Now, on the other hand, the Service Commission may be right, refusing to be, puppeted. Probably they followed due processes, and this
did not play to
the directive or dictates
of the Nigerian police force.
Yes, that's why there's a clash. It's just a misunderstanding or disagreement on both sides.
How do you think this will be better solved? Do you think the presidency wading into this and giving the go-ahead for the police force to accept these, constables?
Maybe they should. I'm sure by now there must be some kind of
behind the scenes
committee working on this. Because it's an internal conflict, like I said.
And
when commissions are created, there are laws backing them. They are created on independent clauses. They are meant to be autonomous somehow.
So, okay.
To be able to exercise their duties properly. So when you now want to weigh in, you're trying to say that you, first of all, remove their autonomy from them, you remove their rights from them. You're now trying to prove that they don't know what they're doing. So if the insiders that knows who is wrong or right, which like we are speculating, cannot go beyond the Nigerian normal of quota system or unfair distribution of these numbers, because we have the challenge of unemployment. So everybody wants to get employed. Imagine 10,000 only out of so many number of youths that are unemployed. So the 10,000 is nothing. So everybody wants to make sure that they get there.
Do you think this on the long run would have some psychological effect on these 10,000 constables? Because eventually,
all this why they have been put to the back.
Just playing the waiting game.
You have been employed, probably
recruited,
giving your the documentation is complete. You probably already received the appointment letter. Now just waiting for your posting. And you are not asked to wait because the elephants are fighting. When elephants fight, it's the grass that suffer. So the constables, the 10,000 constables that are put on hold now, I'm sure it's affecting them. Because I don't think there will be any salary while they're waiting.
Okay, on the flip side, let's assume at the end of the day this conflict is resolved maybe by veto power of Mr. President or his directives. Do you foresee this 10,000 constables getting through lots of pains and barriers? Because what it technically means is that the Nigerian police force would frustrate their effort every stage of the way. And how do you think this might affect?
I don't think it will be so, except they didn't resolve on good grounds. When it comes to dialogue is always the best thing to do. Yeah? It's just that most times when you call for that dialogue, people may not want to be honest enough, because it's a simple thing. Somebody will just step in, okay, listen to this side of the story, look at the evidence, look at what is on ground, listen to this side of the story, look at evidence, see what is on ground, then make a sensible judgment, pass a good verdict, a fair enough verdict that will, benefit. If this person is wrong, that's the problem with Nigeria. If this person is wrong, tell it as it is. Go back to the law. That's why the rule of law in Nigeria doesn't favor, because you may be surprised that they will be perceiving one of the parties to be the bigger elephant, even though the two elephants are fighting. And maybe someone was brought in to come and resolve. You'll be surprised that if that bigger elephant is the wrong person, somebody in Nigeria sent to delegate and resolve will start supporting because of what they think they will get from them. You see the problem here.
All right.
So until we have, and that is why problems linger, because this thing is not an issue. Maybe anybody could be wrong. Nobody is always right. You can, maybe because of misinformation, miscommunication, misalignment, misunderstanding, then somebody will come and have a better perspective of things and make you see things clearer, solve it.
All right, let's move on.
Issues drag in Nigeria because no honest judges.
All right, let's move on to the next talking point. Time not our friend. We've got barely 10 minutes to call it a wrap on today's edition. We're looking at food crisis as federal government sends 2,700 fertilizer trucks to state as part of efforts to address the food crisis in the country. The federal government is sending 60 trucks of fertilizer to each of the states of the federation. Each of the 109 senators will also receive 2 trucks of fertilizer for distribution to farmers in their constituencies, while 316 members of the House of Representatives will get 1 truck each to distribute to their constituents. The Senate, which disclosed the plan while debating on the food crisis at plenary, called the federal government to expedite action on the fertilizer distribution. The call followed a motion moved by Senator Sunday Karimi, representing Kogi West, and co-sponsored by Senator Ali Ndume of Borno South. At the plenary, Karimi lamented that all efforts made by the federal government to arrest the consistent increase in food inflation had not yielded desired result. In his contribution, Senator Ndume lamented that this was the first time Nigeria was listed as one of the countries battling food insecurity. In his comment, former Senate President Ahmed Lawan noted that Nigerians had been extremely patient, but for how long he couldn't guarantee. How scary is this when the former Senate President says Nigerians have been patient for and he doesn't know how patient they could be? And also looking at the number of trucks given to senators and House of members to share to their constituents, is this the right way to go? Is there a guarantee these things will get to their constituents in the villages and local governments? We remember that the last time there was food items during COVID, which state government were supposed to share to people, they were all stuck put in food bans across the state until there was this recent break into warehouses, and we noticed that they were all had COVID labeled, then showing that it was what they were supposed to have distributed before 2019. Is this a strategy to store up for 2027 election and using the another smoke screen to pass this to 109 senators and 260 House of Rep members?
Okay, taking it on the surface level, let's go positive first.
Okay.
Yeah, before we come to the negativities and
possible negativity.
Negative possibilities of Nigerians and Nigerian politics. The is a laudable thing to start with.
Okay.
Yes, we thank and appreciate whoever initiated it and the government for also finally giving a go ahead. And from what I can gather, it's supposed to be delivered to the constituents over this weekend. This weekend we are in already. So it shows that.
But they're not, the government, sorry, not to cut you short, the government didn't come out to say these are mechanisms to track, to ensure that these things.
Until that is done, we will see. But we are now reading the news and following what they give us. We keep following up to see how it goes. Of course, this is Nigeria. It is said this weekend, but we may be surprised this month and they still haven't gotten it. It is also possible that this weekend they will get it. Okay? We keep watching to see what is happening. So to be positive, first of all, is a good one because it shows this is a response to crisis.
Okay.
Because like the person, the last quote there, that he doesn't know how long Nigerians will continue.
Talking about Ahmed Lawan, former
Yes,
Senate president. Yeah.
It shows that it's a response to the Nigerian situation. Because the food crisis situation is a serious one. This is now calling back everybody to at least subsistence farming, to feed yourself and your family, because the high rate of inflation, ordinary things that you would normally get in the market at the back there, you go to market to buy it, the price will look as if it's imported. Maybe you're paying import duties, you want to buy pepper and onions. The price will sound as if it's an imported product, as if some import duties have been added. So subsistence farming will allow you to at least farm those onions, farm pepper, you take care of your family and yourself. So those that now cultivate at commercial level too, I think this is where the fertilization support will go. The fertilizer should be distributed to the constituents. So we are happy for it's a good news, even though it's just a very like dropping a spoonful of water inside an ocean. But it at least is a step in the right direction. Who knows, from this, every problem, when you look at it at the end of the day, there's always good out of it. Maybe this situation now will now finally cause Nigerians to finally have a bigger look at the lucrative and possibility, everything positive that is in agriculture. Agriculture was the mainstay of Nigeria before the discovery of crude oil.
True.
Someone was like, the crude oil is more
of a cost than a blessing.
At the same time, because it made us to quickly abandon the cocoa farming, everything that used to feed and make the nation great. We rushed to the oil and abandoned the rest. Okay,
quick. You've just 1 minute, 2 minutes to look at the negative part of it.
Okay, the negative is now the character, the human factor.
Okay.
Which we can remove corruption in that bad human factor of Nigerians, starting with some of our leaders and the Nigerian politicians. Like you rightly said, we can't deny it. Like what happened during COVID, nobody said it can't happen again, and it has been happening. It's not just COVID. All was brought because we are now in the era of social media. People quickly snap it and put it online. Everybody saw it. It's likely going to happen again because some of our politicians express consciencelessness to that extent.
Do you think the federal government on their own part deliberately does this, knowing fully well?
It is also possible. We know the games, Nigerian political games. When you are approaching the time of the next election, you start smiling to the people so that they will forget the sorrows of 3 years ago. And unfortunately, I don't know how Nigerians easily forget the sorrows of the 3 years ago. When it is 1 month to election, they give them whatever. They vote the same people that cause them problems. So it's possible. It's a possible strategy as well.
All right. So because of the one time, this is where we're going to draw the curtains on today's edition of the program, The Desk on Global Television. I must say a big thank you to my guest. She's been her name Adubugo Gertrude Uzo, who is an author and also a public affairs analyst, joining me in the studios to look at very excellent issues making the rounds. Thank you very much. Always obliging us.
Thank you so much.
All right, so that's how we call it a wrap. My name is Anthony Momodu saying thank you for joining me on the program, The Desk. Good evening.